Well, hello, and welcome to Trash with a capital T, where we give trashy books and movies the love they truly deserve. And some deserve more than others. They know what they did. I'm your host, Bobby. New videos are posted every Sunday, 8:30 a.m. Eastern Time. If you like what you see during the video, give me a like. It makes me feel good and it helps the channel. If you want to see more of my content, subscribe. I always got new stuff coming out, and I've got a decent backlog now. So, today we are doing a review that I was originally planning on doing as a buddy review with someone. This was a buddy read. And I know my friend who read this liked this book more than I did. But I did want to still review it because it was an interesting enough book. There are some really good strong points here. So we are going to be reviewing Hide and Seeker by Daka Hermon. And definitely middle grade horror. Characters are about 11, 12 years old. Nothing too shocking or too gory. For me personally, this was definitely a middle of the road book. I think I gave this 3 stars. So it's not a no, but it has some issues that needs to get worked out. But let's talk about the plot, and then we'll kind of get into some of the good and the not so good. So plot, we follow Justin. He is a young boy who has had a lot happen in his life over the past year. First, his best friend just goes missing. And then right after that, his mother passes away from cancer, leaving him and his sister to kind of fend for themselves. Money is running low, things are tight, and everyone's stressed. And he is carrying the weight of the world on his little shoulders. I believe this is supposed to be Justin right here. And the character is written a little older, but I believe he's supposed to be like 11 or 12 years old. Anyways, so after a year, his friend who vanished, Z, shows up again, but he's off. It's during a welcome home party where things just go completely wrong and end up with the kids playing a game of hide and seek, but they don't finish the game, and in fact, they break the rules. And in doing so, they learn the danger of breaking the rules to hide and seek. And that is when the seeker starts to come for them and more kids start to vanish. I'm going to keep this fairly spoiler free, but the good parts of this book, let's start there. Let's start with the strengths. Dr. Herman does a great job with our lead character, with Justin. He is someone who you really do attach to. His journey is very compelling. The emotional depth to his character because of the loss that he's experienced and his processing of that really does work. As an adult reader, I still connected to that. I thought Justin was a great character. She avoided all of the annoying tropes that could come with some of these middle grade leads. He feels very rounded and realized, yes, he is stubborn, but in an appropriate way that fit with the story. One of the big overarching themes in this book is the only way if you truly want to face your fears, it's better to do it with people you care about than to try and do it on your own. And that is something that I think is a great message to impart to especially readers this age. That stubbornness is appropriate. The other thing that I really love is the relationship between Justin and two of his main friends, which is Naya, or it's either Nia or Naya, I'm going to say Naya, and Lyric, who are around the same age. They've grown up together. That trio really does ground the book. It gives it an emotional weight because we care what happens to those three characters. Their journey is compelling in the fact that their friendship, their connection, that unity between the three really is a grounding force. It gives the reader something, in my case, me, to latch onto. I loved all three characters. I love the way they interacted, supported each other, called each other out. It felt realistic, and it was compelling to read. So when they're dealing with the Seeker and all of the craziness around that, I was very much entertained and interested, and I was there. The problem is everything around those characters. So, well, the concept of this book is very creepy, and there are some good creepy scenes early on when we're in the real world. That portion of the book gets sped through very quickly because the author really wants to throw them into the realm of the Seeker, which is this kind of like alternate universe, but not. I don't know. It's not a really well developed world, and for me, it doesn't work great. I didn't really love that part of the book, which sadly is a good chunk of this book. This book is over 300 pages. Um, Part of the reason that that part of the book becomes a problem is because we have way too many characters. This book is bloated as far as the cast goes. We have extra kids that pop up there. We have a few kids that like are in the beginning and then vanish very quickly. But they're all always there. They're always on the page. So you kind of lose track of where everyone is. And because the cast is so large, a lot of focus starts to get pulled away from the main trio into these side characters that really don't amount to much. The biggest problem for me, I think, was the character of Carla. Carla is kind of like the mean girl bully. She's just nasty to everybody. And then it turns out she's not nasty to people normally. It's just these kids for whatever reason. And I hated her character. Not only because I just don't like the mean girl character, the way she was written, it didn't have any point in the story. But because a lot of the stuff that actually was compelling about her really just could have been put into Nia and it would have been fine. The Nia character is pretty well rounded, but she's a very opinionated, strong-willed character who steps in and tries to help everyone, tries to push everyone forward to keep them moving. And you could have just had that part of it into the Nia character. But that's not what happened. And I felt like they needed more. The story was trying to get more scares in there, more action. And I get wanting to bloat the cast a little, but if they're always there, it just becomes too much. It's too much. My other issue is, and I will say this, the writing in this book is actually, for the most part, fairly strong. It is a very enjoyable writing style. It's simpler because it's middle grade, but it's not bad. It's actually quite strong. Good, strong word choice. It's not overwritten. It's kind of just got that perfect pacing within the writing. The storytelling pacing is off. It's a little rushed, like the beginning's very rushed, and then when we get to the Seeker's Realm, the pace just kind of dies because there's so many characters to deal with. The part of the writing that actually drove me nuts is the author tries to create this rhyme for the Seeker to kind of do like a 1-2 Freddy's coming for you kind of rhyme. The problem is the 1-2 Freddy's coming for you rhyme is simple. It's one, you count to 10, you have the little verses, but that's what gets repeated over and over again. In this, the rhymes get so complicated and they just keep going. And there's new rhymes all the time, so you don't get that repetition. That it just feels kind of off. It seems like they're trying a little too hard. And it's like, let your character be creepy. You don't have to work that hard to do that. You have a ghostly character that's trying to invade the real world. It's not, you don't have to try that hard. That's creepy. And the rhymes really did kind of make this feel a little younger reader-wise than I was hoping for. And I don't even think kids would remember any of these rhymes. Because don't forget, we're not hearing it. We're reading it. So we don't have the cadence of how the rhyme is supposed to go in our head either. So it just comes off wrong. It's an over-reliance on that throughout the book to kind of build this creepy backstory. And it doesn't work. It doesn't work. There are some good creepy scenes in here, especially in the beginning in the real world. There's a scene where the kids are visiting Z at his house and he's like drawing all of the stuff all over his room and it gives you Candyman vibes. Like, this book is entirely appropriate for middle grade readers and early horror readers, but there are some great creepy moments. You do not have a ton of violence. You do not have a ton of anything. The fears that the kids deal with are realistic and relatable, and that part I liked. And I do like the way that the fears work. So in the book, the Seeker does use your fears against you, but the kicker is only you can see what's hurting you. It will hurt you. It will attack you. It will drag you away and throw you in a well and terrorize you. But only you can see it unless someone else connects with you. They touch you. If they touch you, they then can see your fear. And then they can interact with it and help you fight it. But the kids don't fully grasp that. So a good part of this book is these kids refusing to touch each other because they don't want to take on anyone else's fears. They're too scared to, they don't want others to experience theirs. They're either ashamed or they don't want to put that burden on people. That part is compelling, and I actually think that was handled very, very, very well. But there's a lot in there. It's buried in the bloat. And then you get to the action scenes. And this is really bad at the end when they're doing the final like game of hide and seek. You lose track of everybody. They're supposed to be in a backyard. It suddenly feels like they're in a freaking football stadium. That part, because there's so many pieces, there's so many characters, it's too much. It is too much, and it makes it feel jumbled. It does not work. And you lose the physical realm that these characters are in. You don't know where they are within placement to each other, which is kind of important because they're trying to all work towards going towards one spot. So you don't know where they are in connection to that spot, and it's not an uncommon problem with action scenes. Some authors can handle big action scenes really, really well. It takes a special kind of skill that you have to develop. A good example, if you look at my review for Scareville, The Harvest, the ending of that has this big action set piece where these characters are being terrorized by these scarecrows. And that one works because there's focus. And you focus on specific characters at specific times so you're not getting jumbled up in this big mess. It takes time to get that skill honed in. And I think Daka Hermon, I have the hardest, my brain wants to say Harmon. It's Herman or Herbon, but my brain wants to say Harmon. Don't know why. But the author here does have a lot of skill. I think it's just that's one of those skills that needs to be honed. And it might already be, there's books after this. There's The Nightmare King is the next one I can think of. So it may have been fixed by the time we get to that book. But for this one, this is definitely not a do not read, but this is a go in knowing there might be some issues. And I think some younger readers might also have some problems with the pacing. I struggled with this one. I don't know why. It's not bad. The writing is actually quite strong. The pacing is king. And with this, it felt very repetitive. It kind of felt like the book version of a fetch quest at times. So I wish it was better. I do. I really do. But as it is, it's not terrible. And I got this one for a very affordable price. I think I paid $6 for the hardcover. So you're not going to spend an arm and a leg if you want to read it and there's an audiobook. I wouldn't say avoid. It's got its good moments. And if the plot sounds interesting to you, try it out. You may love it. But for me, those were the issues I ran into. Okay. I haven't done a middle grade horror review in forever, so I thought that would be a good one to get out there. I didn't want to sit on it because I did enjoy parts of the book and the character work. The character work is prime. Wonderful. So, all right, we're going to wrap this up here. Review's gone on long enough. So, general housekeeping again. New episodes every Sunday, 8:30 a.m. Eastern Time. And if you liked this video, give me a like. I'm serious. Those do make me feel good, and they do help the channel. All right. Love what you love. Enjoy what you're reading and watching. And have an amazing morning, afternoon, or evening. And I will see you all in the next one. Bye, guys.